Everyone saw his million-dollar smile. His lifestyle, filled with exotic cars, luxurious mansions, and millions of adoring fans, was the fantasy of millions. But behind every click, every viral video, and every brand deal lay a shadow so dark, not even his closest collaborators dared to speak of it. This is not just a story about success. This is the story of how lies, manipulation, and an unquenchable hunger for wealth nearly destroyed the man everyone thought had it all. And how the truth, once buried in silence, came back with a vengeance. The town of Briar Hill was so ordinary it almost disappeared in the fog. Tucked between faded strip malls and endless cornfields, it wasn't the kind of place where legends were born. But in a crumbling two-bedroom house on Mulberry Street, a 17-year-old boy named Marcus Dean was about to change everything. Not just for himself, but for the entire internet. Marcus had always been quiet, not out of shyness, but calculation. He watched people like puzzles. He didn't fit in at school, nor did he want to. The only place he truly came alive was in front of his cracked laptop screen, where he edited videos late into the night while his alcoholic stepfather raged in the next room. There were bruises Marcus didn't explain, and silences too loud for any teenager. But the camera? It listened without judgment. His first upload was almost accidental. A poorly lit rant about school, loneliness, and dreams of escaping. He didn't expect anyone to watch it. Yet by the next morning, it had 14,000 views. Not millions, but enough. Enough to ignite something dangerous. People loved his pain. The more vulnerable he was, the more they watched. And then something strange happened. Every time Marcus shared a personal crisis, his mother's overdose scare, getting kicked out of school, being cheated on, his subscriber count soared. At first it scared him. Then it excited him. Finally, he understood. The world didn't want truth. It wanted spectacle dressed as sincerity. So he gave them what they wanted. Marcus began crafting his own tragedies. He faked getting evicted. He staged a mugging with a friend in a ski mask. He pretended to cry on live streams, carefully timing each tear for maximum effect. And it worked. Within months, he hit 1 million subscribers. His fans called him the most relatable guy on YouTube. Brands started knocking. He went from a used GoPro to Red cameras, from eating ramen to private chefs. But the real transformation wasn't financial. It was psychological. He learned how to manipulate algorithms and people with equal precision. He studied viral trends like a scientist and reverse-engineered emotion like a sociopath. Behind the scenes, Marcus began to show signs of something darker: paranoia, obsession with control, and an unrelenting fear of being irrelevant. He fired his first editor for lacking vision. He stopped speaking to childhood friends. His house became a fortress of silence and ring lights. Fame wasn't enough. It had to be sustained, protected, multiplied. Then came the first real scandal. A fellow creator, Jenna Clay, accused Marcus of stealing her video concept and emotionally manipulating her during a collab. She posted screenshots, voice notes, and even clips from unseen footage. For a moment it seemed Marcus's empire would crumble. But instead, he uploaded a response so emotional, so raw, so perfectly executed. It made him more popular than ever. Jenna was labeled a clout chaser. Her channel tanked. Marcus gained 400,000 subscribers in a week, and that was the moment he realized the internet doesn't care about truth. It cares about the illusion of truth. If you controlled the narrative, you controlled the world. He started hiring writers, actors, even a reality consultant who helped craft backstories and set designs. He wasn't a content creator anymore. He was a director of a digital theater where he played the tragic hero, the survivor, the genius underdog. All at once. But buried under all the viral moments, collaborations, and awards was a secret Marcus never told anyone, not even his team. There was one video he had never released. One video he kept hidden on a password-protected drive. It was the first time he discovered just how far people would go to be part of something big. It wasn't staged. It wasn't fake. And if it ever leaked, everything would end. Marcus didn't care. Not yet. Because as long as the views climbed, as long as the world watched with open mouths and hungry hearts, he was untouchable. Or so he thought. It was easy to believe Marcus Dean had it all. His penthouse apartment in downtown Los Angeles overlooked the glittering skyline. His closet was filled with luxury brands, and his calendar was packed with meetings, sponsorships, and collaborations. On camera, he was magnetic, authentic, funny, even vulnerable. But behind the ring lights and million-dollar smile, Marcus wasn't living a dream. He was orchestrating a deception so elaborate it turned YouTube into his personal theater of illusion. After surpassing 10 million subscribers, Marcus no longer filmed alone. His videos became high-budget productions with professional lighting, multiple camera angles, and scripts so precise they rivaled television. What looked spontaneous to viewers was, in fact, rehearsed down to the second. Even the laughs, the stumbles, the awkward glances, they were all carefully calculated. He called it emotional choreography. The themes of his videos shifted. No longer just rants and personal stories, Marcus began staging life events that blurred the line between fiction and reality. He faked a breakup with an influencer girlfriend, complete with crying vlogs and cryptic tweets. The series ended with a surprise reunion, garnering over 120 million views across platforms. The audience was hooked. But what they didn't know was that the girlfriend was an actress, hired through a private agency that specialized in influencer narrative consulting. Everything was for show. Everything had a script. Some collaborators were in on the secret. Others weren't. A rising YouTuber named Kyle Vega, known for his raw and candid personality, was invited to Marcus's mansion for what was supposed to be an unscripted podcast. But when Kyle arrived, he was handed a script and told to stick to the arc. Kyle refused. He thought the whole thing was a joke, until his audio was muted in the final edit and his image was replaced with a deepfake. When he protested publicly, Marcus's legal team buried him in copyright claims. His channel was demonetized within weeks. Kyle vanished from the platform, another casualty in Marcus's empire of control. Meanwhile, whispers began circulating. Online. Conspiracy threads on Reddit. Anonymous leaks. Even ex-staff members posting anonymously about NDAs and mental breakdowns. One particularly chilling post claimed Marcus had staged an entire house fire for views, only to later expose the truth in a heart-wrenching recovery vlog. The damage was real, but the fire had been meticulously planned, right down to the placement of flammable props and the timing of emergency responders. Marcus's management team denied everything. His fans defended him with cult-like devotion. And the algorithm? It rewarded him with more visibility, more ad revenue, more influence. But there was a cost. Inside his inner circle, loyalty was collapsing. Editors spoke in hushed tones about strange meetings, missing footage, and Marcus's obsession with a black journal he kept locked in a drawer. Assistants reported sleepless nights and sudden firings. He became increasingly paranoid, installing surveillance in every room, even bathrooms, and demanding signed waivers for any guest who stepped foot on his property. Then came the leak. A 2-minute clip appeared on a dark web forum showing Marcus screaming at a crew member, threatening to ruin their life for misplacing a memory card. The clip was raw, unedited, and brutal. It didn't just show a temper, it revealed a man unraveling. Fans were shaken. The internet split in half. Some called for cancellation. Others claimed it was a deep fake. Marcus responded in the only way he knew. He weaponized the narrative. He released a documentary-style video called Behind the Breakdown, where he framed the outburst as part of a larger mental health struggle. It was moving, vulnerable, and completely manipulative. Donations poured in. Brands offered support campaigns. He gained 2 million new subscribers. And the darkest part? None of it was real. Behind closed doors, Marcus mocked the very audience that made him rich. He called them emotional cattle, gullible, needy, addicted to drama. But he wasn't done. He had something bigger planned, something that would redefine what was possible on YouTube. Because Marcus no longer saw himself as a creator, he saw himself as a god. The air was different now, thicker, heavier, as if the very atmosphere around Marcus Dean's empire had begun to rot from the inside. What once glittered like untouchable success now reeked of secrets festering beneath the surface. His videos were still going viral. The thumbnails were still clickbait perfection, but something was off. And then, the silence broke. It started with an email. Sent from an encrypted address, it simply read, "Check Reddit. You won't control this one." Attached was a 17-second video clip. No audio. Just shaky, behind-the-scenes footage from one of Marcus's most famous uploads, the Near Death in the Desert vlog. A viral hit from 2 years ago where Marcus claimed to have been stranded after a drone expedition went wrong. In the original video, he wandered through scorching sand, dehydrated and delirious, until being rescued by hikers. The leaked clip revealed the same scene, but this time the production crew was visible, along with a full catering table and a medic adjusting Marcus's makeup. Within hours, it hit Reddit, then Twitter, then every drama channel on YouTube, and the floodgates opened. Former staff members, emboldened by the leak, started talking. One by one, anonymously at first, then with blurred faces and voice changers. They told stories of emotional abuse, forced NDAs, 12-hour shoots without breaks, threats of career destruction, and moments when Marcus seemed to descend into something unrecognizable, less a human being, more a calculating machine with no moral compass. But it was when Kai Benson stepped forward that the narrative truly shifted. Kai wasn't just any collaborator. He was Marcus's oldest friend, the one who appeared in his earliest vlogs back when the lighting was terrible and the jokes were real. They'd grown up in Briar Hill together. They'd filmed in Marcus's backyard, edited videos on the same broken laptop, dreamed together about making it out. And then Marcus left him behind. Kai released a 47-minute expose on his barely surviving channel titled The Marcus Dean You Don't Know. It was raw, painful, real. He recounted how their friendship disintegrated as Marcus became obsessed with fame. He showed emails, voice messages, footage never aired. But one piece in particular made the internet stop cold. A clip from 2016, never uploaded, shot with a handheld camcorder. In it, Marcus stands in a dimly lit garage beside Kai, rehearsing what appears to be a breakdown. He practices lines like, "I never thought I'd lose her," and "I'm not okay," while adjusting lighting and timing sobs. In the background, a girl's voice is heard laughing, until suddenly it stops, replaced by silence. The laughter never resumes. Kai says her name was Chloe, a mutual friend. She disappeared shortly after. The video didn't accuse Marcus of anything directly. It didn't have to. Internet sleuths went into overdrive. Chloe's name trended worldwide. Her missing person case, filed quietly and forgotten in Briar Hill years ago, was reopened. News outlets picked it up. Old classmates were interviewed. Chloe's mother appeared on a live stream in tears, begging Marcus to come forward with the truth. Still, he said nothing. Until he did. 3 days later, Marcus uploaded a new video. No intro, no music, just him, in an all-white room, staring directly into the lens. I know what you've seen. I know what you think. But this isn't what it looks like. He spoke for 12 minutes. Calm, measured, almost hypnotic. He called. The clips edited misinformation, painted Kai as a jealous failure, and claimed Chloe had left the internet life behind and cut ties with everyone. But there was no proof, no contact from her, nothing that confirmed his story. What followed was chaos. Sponsors dropped him. Comment sections were filled with demands, threats, pleas. His subscriber count plummeted. News outlets began digging into his financials, his early content, his inner circle, and then new footage surfaced. Not a leak, not a hidden file. A security tape. Uploaded anonymously to an international forum, it showed Marcus, at age 19, screaming at someone behind the camera, threatening them over what he called the footage that ends everything. His expression was pure terror, not of being caught but of losing control. The voice behind the camera was calm, female, quiet. Some believed it was Chloe, others weren't so sure. But one thing was clear. Whatever Marcus was hiding, it was darker than anyone had imagined. And now, the internet wasn't watching for entertainment, it was watching for justice. The penthouse lights stayed off now, curtains drawn, doors locked. The building that once shimmered with the energy of non-stop production had grown cold and silent. Marcus Dean no longer answered calls, didn't respond to emails, and had disabled comments on every platform. For the first time in 6 years, the king of YouTube had gone completely dark. What remained of his team had either resigned or been silenced. The editor who leaked footage? Gone. Legal threats were flying from both sides. Former collaborators were giving interviews to anyone who would listen. Chloe's name had been permanently etched into the public consciousness, her missing poster now a symbol of internet justice. Inside the penthouse, Marcus sat in a custom leather chair that cost more than his first car, staring at the wall. Days bled together. Food arrived at the door but went untouched. He hadn't posted in weeks, and that terrified him more than the investigations, more than the media frenzy, because Marcus Dean wasn't addicted to fame. He was dependent on it. The silence wasn't peace. It was punishment. He replayed the same thoughts over and over. Where had it gone wrong? Was it when he scripted that first fake meltdown? When he manipulated his fans into choosing sides in made-up feuds? Or was it something older? Something from Briar Hill? Something he had never confessed, even to himself? Then the messages began. They came through an old email he hadn't used in years. No subject line. Just a link. Always the same. Unlisted YouTube videos, uploaded anonymously, private, with cryptic titles like She Watched You Lie and Mulberry Street, 3 a.m. Each one showed him footage from inside his home, from his past shoots, from angles that shouldn't exist. One showed him rehearsing a breakdown with a girl in the background. Not Chloe, but someone who looked eerily similar. Another clip showed Marcus pacing in the middle of the night, mumbling to himself over and over, "They know. They know. They know." These weren't old vlogs. These were recent. Someone was watching him now. He tore the apartment apart, searching for bugs, cameras, anything. Paranoia devoured him. He didn't sleep. He began hallucinating. Or so he thought. One night he looked out the window and saw a woman standing on the rooftop across the street, just staring. She vanished when he blinked. A week later, the police came. They didn't have a warrant yet, but they asked questions about Chloe, about Kai, about the crew members who disappeared from contracts without explanation. Marcus answered in riddles, in legalese. He smiled when he should have cried. And when they left, he laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was the only sound that felt real. The laughter didn't last. That same night, he received a package. No return address. Inside, a hard drive, and a note that read, "Upload this, or we will." The files were unedited, raw, horrifying. A compilation of every deception he'd ever engineered. Faked injuries, staged confrontations, psychological torment of his staff, footage of Kai crying in a bathroom after a manipulated breakup shoot, audio of Marcus whispering to a producer, "No one will ever believe them over me." And at the end, grainy footage of Marcus, at 18, standing at the edge of a forest, holding Chloe's phone, and throwing it into the trees. He didn't remember filming that, but there it was. His final video was a live stream. No intro, no edits. Just Marcus, eyes sunken, skin pale, wearing a wrinkled hoodie in the middle of his sterile living room. "I lied to all of you," he said. "I don't know where Chloe is. I don't know who I am anymore. But I know this. Someone else has been watching me. Someone I can't see." He paused. "They want me to confess everything. But you wouldn't believe the real story." The chat exploded. Donations poured in. Viewers begged for the truth, but Marcus didn't give them closure. Instead, he looked straight into the camera, whispered, "It's not over," and shut it off. The live stream ended at 9:41 p.m. By 9:56, his apartment was empty. Security footage showed Marcus leaving the building through the garage. Alone. No one saw where he went. No one ever saw him again. Authorities launched a search. Fans created theories. Some said he ran to Mexico. Others claimed he was dead. But then came a final twist. 1 week later, Marcus's channel posted a video. Title: "One Last Episode." No thumbnail, no description, just static, and a voice, hers, whispering, "Now they know everything. Thank you so much for being here until this point in the story. If you've made it this far, it's because this plot has captivated you as much as the truth captivates those who try to hide it. But know this: the best is yet to come. Prepare yourself for the final revelation that will change everything you believe about fame, control, and redemption." It uploaded at midnight, like a ghost slipping quietly into the digital world. No promo, no alert, no monetization. The video, titled "One Last Episode," sat silently on Marcus Dean's channel. Viewers hesitated. Some thought it was a hacker. Others believed it was a prank. But curiosity won, as it always does. And when they pressed play, what they saw wasn't a comeback. It was a confession. Not the kind fans expected. Not an apology. Not an explanation. It was a documentary. A twisted, jarring montage of Marcus's rise and fall, but not told by him. This story had a new narrator. A soft female voice. Calm, haunting, and unmistakably Chloe's. At first it felt like a tribute. Childhood clips of Marcus and Chloe, playing in the woods of Briar Hill. Grainy footage of their first videos together, laughing about nothing, dreaming of YouTube stardom. Then the tone changed. Drastically, Chloe's voice turned colder. She spoke of manipulation, of being asked to pretend to cry in videos, of being promised the spotlight, then erased. She revealed Marcus's early obsessions with metrics, how he calculated every piece of content to provoke maximum engagement, even pain. She told the audience how she once threatened to leave the channel, and how Marcus begged her to stay, until she found the hidden footage. The footage of her sleeping, of her crying alone, of moments she didn't know were recorded. That's when she ran. The video didn't explain where she went, or how she stayed hidden. But she claimed she never stopped watching. She had backups, proof, passwords. She knew Marcus would self-destruct. She just didn't know how long it would take. So she waited. And now, she was ready to end the show. The second half of the video was unlike anything YouTube had ever seen. Private messages, contracts, footage of crew members breaking down, deleted scenes, Voice notes from Marcus bragging about fake tragedies, about emotional bait, about how truth is just a tool. Then, the final piece. A confession. Recorded 2 days before Marcus vanished. In it, he looked hollow, eyes bloodshot, hands trembling. "I did it," he said. "All of it. I didn't kill anyone, but I let things happen. I filmed things I never should have. I thought the camera made it okay, like it wasn't real if there was a lens between me and the pain." He paused, breathing heavy. "I don't know where Chloe is, but if she's alive, I'm sorry. I was supposed to protect you, not turn you into content." And then, the camera glitched. Static, silence. The video ended with Chloe's voice one last time. "This isn't revenge. This is release. He wanted you to believe he was the story. But he wasn't. I was." The channel was deleted an hour later. All videos, all posts, all traces of Marcus Dean. Gone. In the days that followed, the internet boiled over. Theories erupted. Was Chloe really alive? Was the footage real? Was the confession coerced? Reddit, Twitter, Discord. Everyone wanted answers. But none came. No one could confirm Marcus's whereabouts. Chloe's name didn't appear in any legal systems. Even Kai went silent. All that remained was the story. A story that felt too horrifying to be fiction and too perfectly constructed to be real. But one question lingered in every viewer's mind. If someone could fake a life so convincingly, could they fake their own disappearance? As the digital world searched for truth, one thing was undeniable: Marcus Dean's final act wasn't a scandal. It was a legacy, a warning, and possibly the greatest performance in internet history. How far would you go for fame? Would you lie? Would you hurt others? Would you lose yourself completely? Tell us in the comments. Do you believe Marcus was a mastermind or a monster? Was Chloe a victim, or the true puppeteer all along? Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next story that might be stranger and more real than fiction. And don't forget to watch the next recommended video. What comes next will shake you even more.